Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Oh.
Narayana Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We are discussing previously about Rudra Gita, wherein Prachetas, they were met by Rudra and he was instructing them. I'll just share. Right. We are seeing, so Prachetas, they met Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva is instructing them about how to worship the Lord through a particular prayer. So before that, he told that whoever is worshipping Lord Vishnu, whoever is surrendering to Lord Vasudeva, he is very, very dear to me. And for them, I am also very dear. So devotees love me and I also love devotees. So therefore, because you are worshipping Lord Vasudeva, I am giving you this mantra, which will bestow highest benefit. So then he started giving that mantra. So initially we have seen how he is offering obeisances to various like incarnations of the Lord in Chaturvyuha, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Niruddha, and other devatas, presiding deities, so that all his bodily elements will be purified and they will be able to worship the Lord. So in that sense, he offered their prayers. And then he beautifully described the beauty of the Lord. So how the Lord is, I want to see that form which is worshipped by your devotees, which is very dear to your devotees and which is very pleasing to all the senses. And his beauty is sum total of all beauty. Sarva Saundarya Sangraham. And he is like a blackish cloud in this color, very shining, glittering. And he has four arms which are very, very beautiful. And his face is very beautiful to look at and look into. And he has eyes which are like lotus petals. And his eyebrows are very nice. And Nasika, his nose is like his teeth are like compared to the kunda, like jasmine flower, linely, which is are aligned very nicely in a row. And his ears are very nicely decorated easily. And he's looking very affectionately towards his devotees. And his face is like surrounded by his hair, which is like very beautiful. So in this way, he is wearing beautiful ornaments and having kirita. So in this way, his beauty is very nicely described. How his shoulders, everything is decorated by ornaments, and his navel is very wonderful, and he is wearing yellow garment, which is very, very beautiful. So in this way, please also show me your lotus feet so that we will enter into all our ignorance will go away. So in this way, he described this form, and he described what is the result of this meditation. So result of that meditation is one should repeatedly meditate on this form so that the jiva will be purified. So when we are reading and we are hearing all these things, what we are doing repeatedly, we are meditating upon the form of the Lord, so which will make us steady in understanding in our meditation also. So we will be freed from our anarthas, and devotion will arise, and that devotion will free us from all the fears, like fear of death and other fears. So in this way, one should completely focus on this. And then the Lord is said to be attainable only by bhakti. So, and this is like even the great personalities like Kumara and others who know that they are Atma, they also ready to perform their devotional service. So Lord is only approached by devotees, and even for devotees also, that if they attain like lotus feet of the Lord, but still if they are desiring other things like Sarga and other things, so it is not very advisable. So it is very rare that pure, like only wanting pure devotional service, which is like very rare. So that's what they completely satisfy the soul. And what is the like advantage of a devotee taking shelter of the Lord? Even death cannot approach that devotee. That means, like for example, Dhruva Maharaj, when he is about to go back to Godhead, death approached, and he stepped on the head of Dhruva Maharaj and boarded into airplane. So, like death will not have, the time factor will not have his effect upon the person who is completely surrendered to the Lord. Time will destroy every other thing, the universe, but it cannot destroy the bhakti in a devotee's heart. So in this way, so like in order to highlight that bhakti, he says that Kshanardhanapi tulaye nasvargam napunarbhavam bhagavat sangi sangasya matyanam kimutashisha. If one attains even a half moment of association of a devotee who is completely free from all the material desires, so that type of association cannot even compare to the attaining Swarga and attaining even liberation. What to speak of other material desires? So, so therefore, the association of the devotees is the most wanted thing. So, by glorifying the association of the devotees, he is highlighting the bhakti as the topmost than all other goals like Swarga and Moksha. And actually, the greatest mercy of the Lord is to have that association. So he is praying for the Lord to have the association of the devotees. Athana gangre stava kirti tirtayor antar bahisnana vidhuta papmanam bhuteshu anukrosha susatvashilina Syat sangamo anugrahaye shanastava. So Atha, therefore, O Lord, Anaga, Angres, whoever takes shelter of your lotus feet, and the lotus, the water that washes your from your feet, which is like Ganges. So that person, whoever is taking shelter of your lotus feet, and antar bahisnana viduta papmana, so that the glory of the Lord is compared to the Ganges, which is coming from the lotus feet of the Lord. Tavakirti tirthi. So whoever hears, like whoever the person who is completely purified by that Ganges, which is like Tavakirti, which is like glorification of the Lord, Antar Bahisnana Viduta Papmanam, say all their contamination is completely gone by that hearing the glories of the Lord. And their heart is that they are always inclined towards the very favorably towards all the living entities. They have a lot of mercy for all the living entities. And they are Susattva Shilina. They are like completely having good qualities, proper conduct. So they have pure hearts and show mercy to all the living entities. Bhutesha Anugrasha. So Syat Sangamo Anugraha. O Lord, my desire is to have association of such people. And if someone is having that association of the persons who are like completely pure and who are like completely engaging in bhakti, so that is your mercy to us. Yesha anugraha nastava. So this is actually your mercy. So, oh Lord, please provide association of devotees. And if one is having association of that great personalities, that is actually the Lord's mercy that one can understand in this in this sense. So the like here we can understand that the like wherever the prayers we have seen, we have seen the prayers of Dhruva Maharaj. What Dhruva Maharaj prayed: Bhaktim muhu pravahatam tvayime prasango bhuyad ananta mahatam amalashayana enanja solvana urubhyasanam bhavabdim neshe bhavat guna katamrita mattaha. So I want association of your devotees who who continuously perform bhakti towards you. And by that association, by hearing glories in that association, I will easily cross over this material world. And then Prithu Maharaj prayer we have seen. Prithu Maharaj is also praying that I want the association of your devotees, and I want millions of years so that wherever Krishna Katha happens, I want to hear in the association of the devotees. Now here in the Rudra Gita, Lord Shiva is also praying the same. And later Prachetas, when the Lord appeared, that time also Prachetas prays that we want association of devotees. So even when the Lord is present in front of Dhruva Maharaj, in front of Prithu Maharaj, in front of Prachetas, their prayer is to attain the association of devotees. That means we can understand. And here also, Lord Shiva is saying that having attained the association of devotees, actually the Lord's real mercy. So through all these prayers, all these pastimes, we can understand that how much important it is to have the association of devotees in our life, and how much eager we are to have the association of devotees in our life, and how much we should appreciate whoever is we are connected with, whoever is trying to connect with us in devotional service. So we should appreciate all the association that we are getting in our life, and we should understand that actually the Lord is merciful, therefore He is providing all that association. So that also we should be grateful for the Lord for the already association that we are getting. And in this way, we should be praying to the Lord also always to have the association of the devotees. And so, what is the glory of that association of the devotees? That devotee heart is completely pure. Nayasya chittam bahiratta vibramam tamo guhayam cha vishuddham avishat. So that chitta of the devotee's heart is completely pure, and he is not agitated by external sense objects. Bahiratta vibramam. And he tamo guhayam cha vishuddhamavishat. While worshipping the Lord, his heart will not enter into tamo guna. He is completely alert. He is like completely satisfied in worshipping the Lord. Yad bhakti yoganu gruhita manjasa munir vichaste nanu tatra tegatim. So, having been blessed by that Bhakti Devi, so by that association, that he will attain that these persons will attain your gati. They will attain your pastimes, or they will see your pastimes and your beauty very easily. Anjasa, they will attain you if by attaining that devotional association. In that association, if one's heart is purified, and he by that bhakti yoga, he will be easily attains the Lord's mercy. He will attain the Lord's lotus feet. So this is the glory of the path of bhakti. So after describing in this way the glory of path of bhakti and attaining the Lord, now he will glorify the Lord, and in the connection with this material world, how Lord is related to all this material world. So the universe, the complete material universe, that is manifested in the Lord, and Lord is there present within the universe, and the Lord is also Brahman, by which the light which is spread everywhere, just like Akasha is spread everywhere. Similarly, the supreme light Brahman is also spreading everywhere. So that Brahman is also the rays coming from you. It is you only. And you have created this universe many times. You have maintained it, and you will destroy it repeatedly. So all these things are taking place under your Maya, and that Maya will at any time cannot bewilder you. So, and by that Maya only, all this universe, it has its variety and it appears so attractive. So all this Maya is coming from you. So therefore, we pray, O Lord, to you, so that we will come out of this Maya to understand you. So you are actually independent of Maya. So therefore, we pray for you. And also this, all the universal form that we see, that is also you only. The other, like so many other yogis, they are with faith, they worship the Lord who has this universal form. It is who has this universal form, and who is also having wonderful form, which is beyond this universal form. And you are the original person, and by your energy as Mahavishnu, you agitate material energy while you are lying in the Karana ocean. You just by your glance, you agitate the Maya, and when that Prakriti got agitated, in that the three modes, Sattva and Raja and Tama, they become differentiates, and through that various elements like Mahatattva, Hankara, Ether, air, fire, water, earth, and all the devatas, sages, and all the living beings. So all these things actually come from your glance in the Prakriti by your effect. And also when the living entities create, as a Paramatma, you enter into all the living entities' hearts. So, and therefore the living entity, because you lie within every living entity, you are also called as Purusha. And this jiva is also sitting in everyone, like jiva is also like every living entity is a jiva sitting in the heart of their bodies. And that living entity he is like one living entity is trying to enjoy the honey, which is like compared to trying to enjoy the senses. Although why if someone want to get honey from a beehive, he may get stung by the bees. So similarly, when one tries to enjoy the senses, that may give suffering, but still he may try to enjoy. So the living entity is bound, but you also enter into all those bodies as Paramatma. And that time factor is such a way that previously the glory of bhakti is mentioned. But what happens if someone is not performing bhakti? So for them also Lord appears in the form of time factor. So time factor is such a subtle thing that no one can will notice, but it will slowly will come and capture a person. So that as a time factor, he moves imperceptibly and he destroys the places of enjoyments for the living entities and even their bodies. So sometimes the time factor is such thing that whatever we possess, either their possessions will go away after some time, either we will leave those possessions. In that way, the time factor is imperceptibly acts. It is like just like a wind destroys the clouds. So similarly, the time factor destroys everything in this world. And people in this world, they are so absorbed in their activities that I will perform this activity, I will perform that activity. But in that way, they are completely absorbed in the material activities. But Lord, in the form of time, suddenly comes and he may take away. One example is given that just like the snake will come and seize a mouse suddenly. So similarly, the Lord in the form of time will suddenly come and seize the person who is greedy for enjoying these material objects. So that's what is happening everywhere in the world. So death or time factor can come at any point of time and it can seize everyone. So for the non-devotees, the Lord will come in the form of time factor. It may slowly take away or it may suddenly come and take away. So therefore, an intelligent person, she always takes shelter of your lotus feet. And if someone is intelligent, who will neglect to worship you, who will disrespect your lotus feet, because your lotus feet is even being worshipped by great personalities like Brahma and Manu, who fear the fear of their own death, even though they have long lifespan. So you are Brahman, you are Paramatma, and you are the goal of yogis who doesn't have any fear. And in this way, this whole universe is like completely consisting of ignorant jivas. They are all in the grasp of fear of time, and ultimately everyone's destinations, their places of in the within material world will be destroyed by that time. So therefore, we completely offer our minds to you, O Lord, and we perform our devotional service by offering this prayer. And by that, we will be completely purified. So this is the prayer that he gives. And by glorifying the Lord, chanting his glories and meditating on the Lord, and by repeatedly worshipping the Lord is slowly established in the hearts of the living beings. And whoever studies this prayer, whatever this prayer, Rudra Gita, and contemplating and by meditating their intelligence harness. So with great respect, they should repeat this prayer And previously, Brahma, when he instructed this to all his sons like Bhrigu and others who want to carry out creation, they recited this prayer and they are able to carry out their creation. And their ignorance got destroyed by offering this prayer. And they are able to create so many living entities. So, and the person where is surrendering to Lord Vasudeva should chant this prayer with great attention and concentration, and by that he will achieve the highest benefit. And in this world, knowledge is compared to a supremely auspicious thing, and it will give rise to supreme bliss. And generally, this ocean is compared to very difficult to cross, but by the boat of knowledge, one can cross over this ocean. And by one who is faithfully hears or studies this Rudra Gita, and the Lord will be very much pleased, and even the Lord who is very rarely conquered will be conquered. So it pleases the Lord. Whoever rises early in the morning and with holding his hands hears these prayers or make others hear these prayers, they will be freed from all bondage of karma, and they will in the end they will attain you as the ultimate result. So that is the glory of hearing this Rudra Gita. So in this way, Lord Shiva has instructed Prachetas, and Prachetas, when the Lord disappeared, they took those instructions to their heart and they performed austerities meditating on that Rudra Gita for 10,000 years in the water. So in this way, Prachetas activities are mentioned. So later on again, these are their activities, how they attain perfection, how they attain the Lord's darshan. So those are also described later. So while Prachetas, they were undergoing those austerities in the water, their father, Prachin Barhishat, he was completely entangled in karma, means performing Vedic sacrifices and killing animals in the name of sacrifice. And he is like always, wherever he goes, he puts the darba and puts his kushagras on the eastern direction. Therefore, he is called as Prachina Barhisha. So in this way, he got entangled in that fruitive activities, karmic karmakanda activities. So Narada Muni, he thought that previously Prachin Barhishat is coming in the line of Dhruva Maharaj, great kings like Dhruva, Anga, and Prithu Maharaj. He is coming in that line, but he is now got entangled in the path of karma. So I should give my mercy so that he will practice the path of bhakti. So therefore Narada Muni went to this Barhishat and started speaking knowledge. So he asked a question that what is the benefit you will achieve by doing all these karmas? And generally people in this world, they perform all their activities in order to attain happiness and destroy suffering. That is in general the goal of everyone. But he says that just it is not possible to destroy suffering and attain happiness by performing this karma. So like that he asks. Then the king Barhishat, he replies that actually, oh great saint, you by my great fortune I am able to see you. And my intelligence is actually bewildered by this karma, and I don't know what is beneficial. So you tell me what is pure knowledge, so that I will come out of this I will be freed from all these dualities and these karmic duties. And my intelligence is fixed on my house, sons, wife, wealth, and acquisitions, and so many obligations and rules are there. Therefore, it is not able to enjoy liberation, and therefore I am repeatedly wandering in the cycle of birth and death. So in this way, he is also humble enough to ask advice from Narada Muni. So Narada Muni, in order to show mercy to him, he showed that you have killed so many animals, and in the sacrifice, see how all those animals, he showed them, all of them, to Barhishat, and said that, see how these all animals, they're all waiting for you to die, and with great anger, they will tear you apart when you die with their horns. So in this way, he showed what is the result of his activities, and then he started narrating one history called Puranjana Vakyana. I will tell this incident, this historical story of Puranjan. Please understand as I speak. So this is the story of Puranjan. It is very interesting story. It is a story of all the people in this world. So he says that there is a famous king called Puranjana, and he had a friend who is called as Avijnata. So he doesn't know. He has a friend, but he forgot that friend. His name and activities were unknown. So, and that Puranjan, he was searching for a place to live. So he is traveling on earth, and he did not find any suitable place. So therefore he became depressed. So because he wanted to enjoy, he thought that all the places in the earth, there are so many different houses, different varieties, but he thought that all those houses were not suitable. So he was moving in different ways, but he saw in some place, like in the southern side of Himalayas, there is a city which has 9 gates, and he thought it has wonderful qualities. So that city is described. So that city has wonderful walls around the city. There are wonderful groves, and there are moats, and there are like wonderful windows are there, gates are there, and there are like houses which are like their tops were decorated with gold and silver and iron kind of tops that are decorated, and it has so many varieties of the place is made up of sapphire, crystal, pearls, emeralds, and rubies, and that is like very, very beautiful, that place. And there are so many in that city, in that there are so many intersections, and so many gambling houses are there, shops are there, resting areas are there. There are stages which are decorated with flags and banners made of coral. So in this way, that city is very beautiful. And outside the city also very beautiful trees and creepers are there. Ponds are there, which is like filled with so many wonderful birds, hummingbees, lotuses, trees, and like waterfalls are there, and very, very cooling. And ducks, they are traveling here as they are also making nice sounds. In this way, so many wonderful objects are there. So in this way, that city is described. And in that city, there was a beautiful woman. And that woman, that lady, he has 10 servants, and they are also accompanied by so many other servants. In this way, that woman is there. and she was like protected by a gate. She was protected by a god, which is in the form of a snake, which has 5 heads. And she looks like she was also looking for a husband or some master. And she was very gentle, and she was looking very nicely decorated, attractively. And she is like very beautiful. And she was dark in complexion. She was wearing yellow cloth, golden belt, and she looked like some kind of a devata. So in this way, that beauty is described. And this Puranjana, just by seeing her, he became very attracted. And he started asking her about, he started asking and flattering that lady. So who are you, O woman? Whom do you belong to? Where you have come from? And why you are roaming in this city? And you have so many followers, powerful bodyguards. Who are all these women that are following you? Who is that snake that is in front of you? And you looks like very beautiful. Are you Lakshmi, Saraswati, or Bhavani? But looks like you are not one of them, because your feet are touching the ground. So in this way, he is like flattering that woman. And so you are, but since you are not the Devata, celestial Devata, you are a woman in this city. Are you looking for a husband? So, and like you can just by seeing you, I am agitated. So you can, if you want, you can accept me as your husband. And like that, he kind of proposed to her. And that woman also seeing this Puranjana, he also became attracted. And she started saying that, I don't know who produced me. I don't know my name and family, or who are all these personalities accompanying. I also don't know. And I don't know who built this shelter. And all these women and men that are following me, they are all my friends. And whenever I sleep, the snake, he protects me. And he protects the city also. And you are a great personality, you are a great king. And by my good fortune, you have come here. All good fortune to you. And since you desire material enjoyment, I will supply along with my friends whatever you want. You stay in this city with 9 gates, and you enjoy in this city. And I will, for 100 years, we can together enjoy in this city. So like you are very expert in enjoying. So therefore, who else I will think of? So therefore, I will, the happiness one will attain in the household life, which will provide dharma, artha, kama, is not known to other people who are focusing on moksha. So therefore, in this household life, one will give benefit to themselves and perform beneficial activities to Pitrus, Devatas, and others. So, like, who will not accept a person, who will not accept a husband like you who is famous, very affectionate, very handsome? So, whom by my fortune I am able to meet. So, in this way, she also agreed, and Puranjana, he got married to that Puranjani, and they enjoyed their life in that city for 100 years. So in that, how they enjoyed, that is mentioned, that wherever they used to go, like in the hot weather, summer seasons, he along with that Puranjani, they used to enter rivers to get pleasures. And the city had 7 gates above and 2 gates below. So he can go to different places through those gates. And in those gates also, 5 doors are faced east, and 1 south and 1 north. And 2 gates are placed in the west. So their names, gates names are also mentioned. That like 2 gates are named Khadyota and Avarimukhi. They are facing east and they are constructed near to each other. Their gates are near. And through those gates, the king used to go to the city of Vibrajita and with a friend called as Dhuman. And in the eastern side, there were 2 more gates called as Nalini and Nalini. They were also very near. And he used to go through that king by a friend called as Avaduta to a place called Saurabha. So like that, all the 9 gates are kind of described. And then apart from these gates, there were other inhabitants who are like 2 blind men named Nirvaka and Peshaskrut. So he used to go to all these different through gates through these different blind people. And king used to enjoy with that Puranjani, and he became illusion, and he attained satisfaction and joy from his wife and children. In this way, he is like completely captured by that woman. And whatever that woman used to say, he used to do. Like whenever she chewed, he chewed with her. And whenever she sang, he sang. And whenever she cried, he cried. Whenever she laughed, he also laughed. Whenever she like talking, he is also talking. She ran, he ran. And she stood and he also stood. And when she was quiet, he was also quiet. So in this way, whatever she does, he does. In this way, whenever she was satisfied, he also felt satisfaction. Whenever she was lamenting, he also felt misery. So in this way, he was like completely in the control of this woman. So he was like completely in this way, he was like kind of captured. Now, like this is a like this is a story. Hope you are able to follow. Like this is like a allegorical story, which is kind of representing a living entity, how he gets entangled in this material world, right? So anyone is hearing this like maybe for the first time, this past time? Maybe some of you might be hearing first time or may know the inner meaning. Yes.
We're all hearing it for the first time, probably.
Okay. So, yeah, it is very interesting. This is graphically explaining how a living entity is getting entangled in the material body. So that is what this story is about. So all this is an allegorical story. Allegorical story means it is not an actual story, but it is an allegory. It is made up of story to convey a spiritual truth. So here Puranjana represents a soul, and he has a friend called as Abhijnata. So he is like friend. I mean, Abhijnata means one who is not known. He has a friend who he doesn't know. So that is actually Paramatma, super soul, residing in the heart. And this Puranjana is traveling all over the world, but he is not, wherever he travels, he is not getting his desires fully satisfied, therefore disappointed. So that means a living entity is traveling in the different species of bodies, but in each and every body, it cannot give complete satisfaction, therefore he is not satisfied. So once upon a time, he saw a city of 9 gates. So this is in the southern province of Himalayas, that means in Bharatavarsha. So that means he has attained a body of a human form, which has 9 gates. So human form has 9 gates, and that description of that city is mentioned. It has nice gates and all those things. So basically, human form, his body has 9 gates, and it has like the gates. Gates are like compared to 9 senses, like eyes, nose, mouth, and also there are wonderful groves, lattice windows. So they are like said to be different sense objects. And in the body, there are different elements like Kapavitta, Vata, or and Sattva Guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. There are different chakras in our body, and there are in this way different things in the body is compared to the different places in the city. There are like sapphires, like places which are very uh, very beautiful, that is like compared to within the heart. There are intersections which is like our there are different intersections in our body which will meet inside, like there are different nadis like Sushumna, Ida, Pingala. They all meet at certain points. So in this way, the resting places are there, which is like compared to Chitta, and there are sometimes happiness, sometimes distress. In this way, this body is compared to the city, and various sense objects are compared to beautiful lakes, the different other things that are beautiful in that city. And this woman, Puranjani, is compared to Puranjani is compared to material intelligence. So this avidya intelligence, which is bound by avidya, that is compared to Puranjani. That means, as a living entity, as a soul, we are very pure. But in this material world, we got entangled with the avidya, the intelligence of we are entangled with the subtle body, which has intelligence, which is coming from avidya. So that is this woman. And that woman is surrounded by a 5-hooded serpent. So this is actually prana. So whenever woman sleeps, this prana is protecting the city. That means this our body is protected by our prana, and this prana lives for 100 years. And this woman is accompanied by her friends. So they are like the intelligence is being accompanied by the different the facilities that he has, like it has senses and everything. So that those are compared to these different women accompanying that woman. These sense objects, different sense objects are further, like the intelligence has 5 senses, and then they are also accompanied by other persons, like they are compared to sense objects. And so this living entity got entangled with that material intelligence, and in that way he will live in that city for 100 years, which is like protected by that prana. And then that living entity, when whatever that intelligence suggests, through that intelligence only, he is like, when that intelligence, whatever that subtle body says, when he is happy, the living entity feels himself happy. When that is sad, he feels himself that sad. And through there are 9 gates that are mentioned. So this is these are compared to different senses going to different places. Like for example, it is mentioned that through the there are like 9 gates are said to be there. 7 gates, there are 7 gates above and 2 gates below. So in our face there are 7 gates and 2 below, anus and other things. And in the face 5 doors are east. That means our 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, and 1 mouth. These are like east. And the 2 gates, Kadyot and Avirmukhi, are compared to 2 eyes. They are constructed near, and through these 2 gates, that Puranjana is going to a city called as Vibrajita. That is actually a form, and he is accompanied by a person called Dyuman. He is actually the eye, so the sense organ. So the Puranjana is using his eye to go to a destination called form. So similarly, the other senses. So he is using his two gates, Nalini and Nalini, and he is going to the form. So in this way, a soul is situated in the body, and through different senses is experiencing different sense objects. So that is graphically described by these 9 gates. And 2 blind men, accompanied by 2 blind men, he goes. So these 2 blind men are hands and feet, because they are not knowledge senses, they are compared to blind men. So in this way he is going, and whatever that material intelligence is suggesting, whenever she is sitting, he is sitting, he is standing, he is standing. That means whatever the soul, when is got entangled in the body, whatever that intelligence, that subtle body suggests, he performs this. In that way, he is like kind of completely bound by that subtle body, that intelligence. So that is being described by this analogy. So then once what happens was, in this way he is enjoying in that city with that woman, and once he gave up his wife and he went to forest to hunt. So while hunting, he took a chariot to go to the hunting. There he hunted several animals and killed them mercilessly. And after killing, he became tired. He came back home, and he felt that, oh, I have killed unnecessarily so many animals, therefore I got entangled with the reactions of the activities. So he felt remorseful, and he came back, and he was like kind of repenting his activities, and he looked for Puranjani, but he could not find Puranjani. Then he asked his maidservants, where is Puranjani? And the maidservants replied that Puranjani was very angry or very sad, and she was lying in a Kopagruha, where she was lying down with the old cloth. So like that. Then Puranjana, he was very disappointed. He went there, and he saw the condition of Puranjani, and he started appeasing her, and touched her feet, and spoke so many things. Why you are like this? Is there anyone who offended you? I will kill any such person who causes harm to you, except is a Brahmana or a Vaishnava. So please let me know. So like that, he pleased many ways, and after pleasing for some long time, she became satisfied, and again she became normal. So this is also this full analogy of what is meant by hunting, what is meant by going with a chariot, why Puranjani became very upset and why she initially did not come back. So that is also explained as an analogy. So Puranjana represents a dharmic person and Puranjani represents a dharmic intelligence. So a person in the mode of Sattva-guna, he performs all the activities which are mentioned in the scriptures dharmically, but sometimes when he is influenced by other modes, he gives up his dharmic intelligence and he may perform the adharmic activities, which is compared to hunting. So he left Puranjani, he left dharmic intelligence, and he went to forest to hunting, which is performing Rajoguna and Tamoguna dharmic activities. And he went through a chariot. So this chariot is also compared to our body. So this chariot has 5 horses, which is compared to 5 senses. And this chariot is this chariot he is compared to the like various objects are mentioned in that chariot. Like it has a bow and it has that which has unlimited quivers in it. It has a driver. It has a reel and it has an axle. It has a wheel and it has an axle and it is a flag. So these are all compared to different elements. So 5 horses or 5 senses. And the rope that is controlling these 5 horses is mind. And the driver who is guiding is the intelligence. And the person who is traveling in this chariot is actually the soul who is sitting there. And he has the quiver armor, so which is quiver compared to material desires, which is like unlimited arrows are there, those desires. And he has a chariot is moving on a wheel, which is compared to day and night or pious and impious activities. And he has a place, the sitting place that of the seat is compared to heart, where he is sitting. And so in this way, this chariot analogy is compared to our body, how a living entity is sitting there. And is going to hunting is represented by he is performing adharmic activity. So he killed so many animals. So in general, the Vedas prescribe killing of the animals, but that is not to encourage killing of the animals. But they mention as a purification. If someone wants to eat, they have to perform so many rituals so that they will ultimately give up that eating of those animals. So in this way, it is not an encouragement, but it is an actually restriction for animal sacrifice. So only it allows as much as required, not more. So in that way, so that activity is compared like that. So the living entity, when he performs adharmic activities, he cannot become happy. He will feel, therefore, he after some time, he may repent, start repenting, and he will experience some suffering. So that suffering is represented by he got tired and then he came back home. So he's coming back to home is represented by if he is feeling remorse and he want to perform dharmic activities again. He don't want to perform adharmic activities. But just like one person cannot become dharmic immediately, because if someone performs bad activity, 2 things will happen. One is like the karmic activity, karmic reactions will come, that suffering will come, and also the desire to perform that karmic activity that will be stored in chitta. So therefore, immediately the dharmic intelligence will not come. So that's why Puranjani is not seen immediately. So he came, he took bath, other things he did. That implies he did prayaschitta and other activities. But still, immediately the dharmic intelligence will not come immediately. But he has to plead, he has to touch the feet of Puranjani and plead and request in different ways. So similarly, he has to put lot of efforts again to situate himself in dharmic belief, because someone performs wrong activity, he is again tends to do that activity. So that will easily the chitta will not get purified. So by remorse, by repentance, by doing so many other activities, slowly, again that dharmic intelligence will come. So that's how Puranjana, again after requesting several ways, again Puranjani came back and he started enjoying with that Puranjani. So that meant again with dharmic intelligence, he started performing dharmic activities. In that sense, he is again performing his activities. In this way, this is how Puranjana is entangled in the city and he is performing these activities that is mentioned. So, but this dharmic intelligence is also not enough, because ultimately the Kala, the time factor, will come and destroy that city. So that is mentioned through another allegorical story by a city getting attacked by Chandavega, a person from outside. So that the story we will continue in the next time. I'll stop here. If anyone wants to have any doubts or anything, continue, otherwise I'll end here.
Thank you, Prabhu.
This is like graphical story, very like such a graphical story. When I heard for the first time, I heard it like I heard it around when I was in my college days, something like 2006, like maybe around 15 years back. I was like very surprised, very revealing story. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
We'll end here. Chandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.